Whether we look at life or we look at business, one thing we come across that is negotiation. Sometimes we do negotiation in a very difficult condition. Sometimes we are doing day to day negotiations. If I talk about bargaining, one term that comes across very often in terms of negotiation, we can do one thing called composite bargaining. That is a lasting, harmonious relationship. We can do concessionary bargaining. We can do distributive bargaining, which is more like claiming. We can do integrative bargaining, which is more like creating. And we do productivity bargaining, which we see a lot in work cultures. If you want to get more productivity out of your employee, um, at different managerial levels, you will see that happening, productivity bargaining. Negotiation can result in contracts. We can do creative deal making, which is more than the pricing or the economic value. So in this playlist, we will talk about negotiation and we will keep discussing about negotiation, different things, how you look at the other side, understanding the other side, empathy for the other side, you understand the needs, understand what is required, understand why we are in the discussion table in the first place, what we are trying to achieve. It can be a win-win situation, it can be a win-lose, it can be a lose-lose, it can be a lose-win. Preferably, you are going for a win-win solution. But whenever we talk about negotiation and bargaining, few things I mention. There is a bargaining range we talk about, then there are trade-offs. But you create value, you try to create value. Sometimes you reframe what is being said so that the other person or the other party understands it. When do you make the first offer, or you should make the first offer at all, depending on the situation, depending on the other side. Then there is a thing called final offer arbitration, FOA. BATNA, we already know BATNA, you reject the deal if it is greater than BATNA. What will be the scenario? You accept the deal which is less than BATNA. What will be the scenario? But what is BATNA and how you are rejecting or accepting the deal? And which is quite the opposite. If you look at BATNA, how you are going to accept the deal based on BATNA, how you are going to reject the deal based on BATNA. People talk about all these things. But one thing we can emphasize is value creation during the process, fairness during the process, equality, equity, need, maintaining the status quo, and all these things people talk about. Economic value added, how you respect that, how you, especially in a business agreement, especially in a business discussion or negotiation, you talk about economic value added. There are many tricks and techniques. There are many ways to reach a negotiation. There are many ways to end the negotiation in a productive way. We both can be happy. We can reach a great decision afterwards. But sometimes it's also about dealing with difficult people. So you will talk about conflict resolution, you will talk about dispute resolution. Many people will play the role of mediation, intermediaries who will play the role of mediation. Some kind of leadership skills you required, obviously, in a conversation, in negotiations. Sometimes during a crisis situation, you do negotiations. You do a lot of these things in life. Especially suppose you are in a media or journalism field. Suppose you go to a situation and a crisis occurs or a very difficult situation occurs. You do negotiations. You talk to people and you make your way through it. You do the coverage, you do the reporting, and you do a lot of negotiations. So you will see that in our lives, we are doing negotiations a lot. Sometimes, what is at stake? It's a very serious situation where the negotiation can be very difficult. Sometimes the people are very difficult. Sometimes, when educated people, civilized people, professional people are doing negotiation, that can be a different thing. When you are negotiating with ignorant people, or people who don't understand all these things much, or they are not getting what you are trying to say, they don't believe in what you say, you will meet those people too. So what are the strategies or tactics, or what are the ways you can deal with those situations or those people? You learn about all these things during negotiations, deal making, making proposals or making presentations where you highlight some points. If more than two people are there, including the mediation parties, you will see that we are creating a presentation which is showing the points people will agree with, that is beneficial for both the parties. So we do see a lot of deal making, we do see a lot of negotiation in business in real life. And we will talk about all these things, in the next upcoming videos.